Hello, my name is John Huppenthal. I'm the Superintendent of Public Instruction for all of Arizona. Welcome to the virtual conference. And also congratulations on this new, exciting, innovative concept. We at the Department of Education are excited and happy to be a part of this conference. As Superintendent of Public Instruction, I have oversight responsibility also for a Department of Education that has 480 employees. A fundamental part of my vision is to create a department that has a customer service focus, where we define students and parents, teachers, principals, superintendents and school boards, and business managers and special education directors as our customers. These are not words that vibrate the air. This is a fundamental aspect of our belief in how we're going to transform education in Arizona. By defining you as our customer, what we intend to do is support you in every way possible and energize you in your mission of supporting teachers in the classroom. And that is fundamental to how we will be operating. We have already made significant strides in this work. As a part of defining you as a customer, we not only create that as a value, but we operationalize it by doing periodic and frequent surveys of customer service, having you rate the quality of our performance, and making sure that we as leaders read every one of your comments. We systematically analyze your information to see how we can organize in a way to best meet your needs. For example, as a part of the feedback, we've got a lot of feedback about our computer system. And we know it's one of our services that was most in most difficult straits when we started our mission. So first off, we focused on that. We got the legislature to trust us with the resources to start doing the repairs. But we got that done on time, on budget. And that hugely improved the reliability of our system. Then we went to phase two. We replaced the operating system. A similar kind of challenge for our IT professionals. Came through that with shining colors. Creating that customer service focus and starting with the computer system. But not only in our computer system, across the board we're receiving feedback through our surveys that our philosophy, that this new cultural transformation is working, that people are perceiving that we are more customer focused, answering the phone, answering problems, dealing with complex problems in a complex way that meets the needs of teachers, principals, superintendents, and school boards. As a part of our customer focus process, we have two main elements. Number one, we organized around you, the customer, as opposed to organizing around the programs and policies so that we could get that focus. Number two, we developed an intense strategic planning process. And unlike strategic plans, which are developed and then go on the shelf to gather dust, our strategic plan is alive and breathing every minute of every day. So within all of our divisions within the Department of Education, we have measured metrics on how we're going to do a better job for you. And those measured metrics are alive and well, in which we're constantly monitoring those metrics on how are we performing to get the mission done of supporting teachers, principals, and superintendents and school boards. So that's a very key part of the process. Another part of the process is defining, extending that strategic plan along all aspects of IT. I mentioned that we went through and we did quite a few improvements in IT, but those are just ground level improvements. Now we want to go way beyond that. We want to provide the very best quality of information so that superintendents, principals, and teachers can manage classrooms, schools, and school districts with the very best possible procedures. As a part of being customer focused, one of the things that I have felt is an imperative is to not just be here in the office, but to get out to schools and to school districts to see what's going on. If I'm going to define you as the customer, I have to go out and actively visit and be a part of education culture. So we've gone across this state, Monument Valley, up in Kayenta, all the way down to Pecan Grove, down in the Yuma Elementary School District, to Peoria in the West Valley. So we have traversed the state in an attempt to visit classrooms, visit specialty programs like career and technical education, visit arts programs, so that we can know more intimately what is going on in our schools. As a part of our customer service focus, we've formed advisory groups, informally known as HOOP groups. These groups are really important to us because oftentimes when we formulate and develop policies, there are inadvertently things that are included in these policies that make life difficult for the practitioners in the field. Without advisory groups, we can never get the feedback we need quickly enough to make adjustments in those policies to be as supportive as we can be. These advisory groups are critical to excellence in our mission. So for example, these advisory groups include superintendents, they include teachers, they include, we have an African American advisory group, we have a computer professionals advisory group, we have a Chinese language advisory group. All totaled, we're going to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 35 of these advisory groups when we're done. We would invite you to be a part of this advisory group policy process. I myself attend all of these advisory group meetings and chair them. And it is as people who have attended these groups will tell you, it is a two-way process in which we present, but we also we have robust discussions, and your input is greatly valued, and we have acted on the advice that we have gotten out of these advisory groups. We treasure the input from these groups. So we would very much advise you to be or ask you to be a part of this group and participate in it. As a part of our philosophy of customer service, there's another whole aspect of this, and that's intellectual leadership. We feel that we need to make our department heavily street credible so that when we come out and make recommendations to you as education professionals, you feel like you can carry those recommendations to the bank, that those recommendations, if enacted, will do things to move academic achievement ahead. As part of our customer service philosophy, let's talk about the Common Core rollout for a second. This is the enormous challenge that's in front of us, and we need to know that this enormous challenge is going to be with us over the next decade. This is not going to be a slow rollout. This is a massive cultural change. As the head of this department, Kathy Rablick has adopted a train-the-trainers approach to rolling out the Common Core standards and training teachers in the field. That's our approach at the center. Now, all of us, we like you, we have very limited resources. So we have about 4.5 employees to do this rollout. Now, 4.5 employees, 70,000 teachers, over 2,200 principals, a massive number of professionals in the field. So this has to be a partnership between the Department of Education and the school districts. And we feel like we are moving along that path as smoothly as you can in such a massive and quick rollout. We know that many of you run world-class training organizations inside of your school districts, and we've seen those in action. So one of our duties is to support you in your work to the extent that we can to make sure that your training internally reflects the very best knowledge, the very best thinking, the very best technology associated with the Common Core standards. That's our commitment to you. As we coordinate that, I would encourage you to send Kathy Rablick and myself the work that you are doing to train your teachers. That way we can best coordinate our activities in conjunction with yours. As a part of rolling out the Common Core standards, we're in the process of additional standards rollouts. The national science standards developed through the national boards through Achieve are going to be released on May 6th. We've been a part of that process, and then with the work that we do together, we will then turn those into Arizona state standards. We anticipate a process in which we have intense scrutiny of those standards to make sure that we in Arizona are comfortable with those standards before we take them to the state board for adoption. That is going to be a true partnership process. To date, as we have examined those standards, we think they are robust standards, but there's nothing that can't be improved even further, and we invite you to be a part of that dialogue. We also invite you to be a part of an aggressive rollout of those standards. We know that we have challenges in Arizona on science education. When the National Assessment of Educational Progress came out, we had great academic gains. We ranked third in the nation in our gains on reading and math, but we lagged a little bit in the science area. So we intend to have an intense dialogue circulating around those science standards and then the implementation of those standards in our schools and school districts. I love the fact that this conference has added to the arts to STEM to make it STEAM, because the arts are near and dear to my heart. I personally got involved in starting up an arts contest here at the Department of Education. If you visited the Department of Education, you can see that student art decorates the walls within the department now. We feel that it has really brightened up the environment here. We get countless comments from people in admiration of the student art that is that's now decorating the halls. So we think the addition of the arts is critical. We think a fully flowered education includes the arts, includes career and technical education, includes physical education. We think that these programs are a must. So adding the arts to STEM, thank you. We appreciate that addition. And of course, science, technology, engineering, and math, those are core things. And we feel we've talked about the science standards, or we'll talk about the science standards, but we feel like technology and math goes hand in hand. We ourselves feel that the future of education itself, not only will we be educating students about technology, but we think that the answer of breaking through, getting much higher academic gains, lies in technology. We think that blended learning is going to give us these breakthroughs in which we get much more rapid academic gains. We get economies of scale in education. We can afford to pay teachers and education leaders more. We think it's going to bring everything together. So technology and mathematics education, we think, go hand in hand. Both the use of technology to teach mathematics and the use of technology to teach students about technology is a close integral part of the whole process. And of course, you can't really separate engineering and mathematics. Engineering is essentially an extension of mathematics. So we feel that math is at the core of the science, technology, engineering, and math process. As a part of our customer service environment that we're establishing, we're focused on breakthroughs for transformational schools. We think that transformational schools are absolutely essential if Arizona is going to provide the opportunities to low-income minority students that many of us have had the opportunity to be a part of and gain the advantages that we have. We have got to provide those opportunities to every one of our children. And the key is transformational schools, and we think transformational schools in their essence will include blended learning as a part of that process, as well as great pedagogy, great teaching in the classroom. We think we're on a voracious hunt for software that makes a difference. We actively use the IES, Institute for Education Sciences, research process that they're engaging in and taking a look at the software that they're evaluating to see what has a great statistical impact. We're right now in the process of evaluating, in conjunction with the Yuma Elementary School District, 2 pieces of software down there. The ST Math, which had great results in their IES trials, and have had great results in the school districts in which they've been implemented in. We think in terms of procedural mathematics, it seems to be a phenomenal piece of software. We will keep you informed about the process of our trials as we expand that within Arizona to see if we can replicate the success that has had in other states. To sum up, we're establishing a new philosophy in the Department of Education. We're providing a customer service philosophy where we define parents and students and teachers and principals and superintendents and school boards as our customer. And we're measuring the results of supporting all of our customers in the educational community. As a part of that, we're working to improve our computer system to make sure that it provides you accurate information for your budgeting, but not only just accurate information for your budgeting, but all of the other data that enables you to make great leadership decisions on a timely basis. we're working across the board to engage your input through our advisory groups, from superintendent advisory groups to school board advisory groups on through to teachers. So the advisory groups are a critical part of our engagement. We're working to provide a framework for transformational schools where we use the technology of blended learning and great pedagogy to create superior academic gains that can provide a model for implementation in our districts to provide great academic gains. So we're also traveling across the state so we can personally experience the challenges that many of our school districts have in providing education to low-income minority to Native American communities. And finally, we're making sure that as our great reforms roll across us, that we're providing the very best intellectual leadership and training support for our school districts through these reforms such as Common Core, through STEM, through STEAM, all of these initiatives. And once again, thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of your online conference, and we would actively seek your engagement at the Department of Education.